Hey, what's up everybody? It's Patrick again from WP Builder Helper, and today we have a very special video for you. It's going to be kind of a long video, so if you're not interested in long videos, then you know what to do. But for those people who are interested in long videos, this is going to be a walkthrough. I thought about it when I was doing Brizy. I wasn't doing them justice by taking and looking at the builder and not knowing how to do things. Whenever you're telling people something or you're teaching them, you need to be able to teach them in a way where people get to see everything. So with this, I haven't gotten as much experience with Brizy as I have with other page builders. I'm going to walk you through building a website. I'm going to find one on the web, and I'm going to walk you through from start to finish building the homepage. We're only going to do the homepage. I'm not going to go for the full website because that's a lot. But if you guys enjoy it, I'd love to take and expand it further. I plan to do this with Oxygen, Elementor, any other page builder that I can find. I want to start building stuff from scratch, not only because I think it would be fun, but I also want to do some challenges and make up some fake clients and have an actual contest of building something from scratch using a predefined idea that this client comes to you and they want something. That's a great way to expand your muscles when you're not getting clients in on a regular basis. And it challenges you, and it keeps you engaged, and it makes you forcibly learn new things that you otherwise wouldn't have learned. So, if you're ready to start learning how to use Brizy, then look no further. We're going to start right now. And before you go, if you like this video, comment below and smash that like button. It really helps me out. It helps me know what you guys like, what you guys don't like. So please, if you're enjoying this or you're not enjoying it or whatever, let me know. I'd love to answer your questions. I'd love to talk to you. I've gotten some great feedback from the community. Everybody's been super nice. So let's get started. Alright everybody, so here we go again, and we are inside of my brand new cleaned out demo site. I cleaned it out. I didn't want any extra pages, didn't want anything like that. I wanted the site to be completely, other than posts, I wanted it to be completely like nothing in it. Of course, it's got the hello world and the recent comments, which that's all fine. It's just pulling metadata from the type of thing it is. But we're going to start from scratch with this. So I've decided, I did a little bit of research, and I wanted to do like a daycare. I like the idea of doing a daycare. I think a daycare is pretty cool. I think it would be neat to have a daycare. I'd like to do a daycare. I think a daycare would be something that would be fun to do. So I started kind of looking in my area, and I started Googling it. And if you want to know what I did, all I did was basically just go to maps. And I'm just going to go to Google Maps, and I'm going to just type in daycare. I mean, I guess I could do something different than a daycare, but I feel like certain daycares really, really have some terrible they have some terrible websites. That's just me. That's just my take. That's not necessarily... Some daycares, I'm sure, are great. But this is another way that you could kind of earn some money, is if you start going through things like this. So in this case, I'm walking you through Google Maps. You can go through and you can start looking at these websites and like find out if they're even... Whoa! Okay. Site was designed by Wix, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is why you don't design something on Wix. Holy crap, that's busy. Okay, that is super busy. So anyway, I'm just trying to get to the point where I actually find a daycare, just a daycare, something that inspires me, something that's and I probably, what did I do? This is kind of weird. Maybe I should have picked a construction site. Maybe a construction would have been much easier. Let's try construction. Let's see. Construction sites are notorious too for being pretty bad. a lot of construction people that's in construction, their websites are just, they are really, really bad. At least most websites that I've found in construction are bad. Because most of them, they're either something that is like a template, because most construction people they don't do a lot of things. This is actually pretty cool. I mean, this is actually a halfway decent site. I'm not digging that big ugly arrow that they have there that's pixelated, but I mean the rest of it looks good. It's a good looking site. Is it also no, it's somebody else. Alright, this is an interesting site. So it's kind of like asking you, like, what are you looking for, commercial? That's pretty cool. That's neat. I can get behind that. That looks good. Certain times you find that there's people out there, though, that'll have sites that are, like, really, like, older sites. Like, take this one, for instance. It is at least responsive, so that's a plus. I was trying to see if this site was going to even be responsive, because it didn't look like it was. But apparently it is responsive. But I say let's do a construction. So the point is, when you start doing a construction, I'll build a logo. For right now, we're just going to use the text logo. But I want to get an idea of what construction sites in an area look like. Sometimes you forget that when you're building a site for someone, you shouldn't just go and make something that you think is great. You should look at other areas. You should look all over the country and see if you can find some sources of inspiration. Sometimes you'll find that certain things won't inspire you, some things will inspire you. It all depends. In some cases, some construction companies don't even have websites. So this isn't bad. This isn't bad at all. It looks a little boring. It's a little... That's interesting. Okay. This isn't bad. I mean, it could be better. There's definitely some things they could do to make it stand out a little bit more. Blurry pictures don't help it any. Sharper pictures are definitely a plus whenever you're building any kind of website project. And it kind of looks like it's been even rendered a little bit by somebody. Like, I don't know. This is cool. That's neat. So there's some things on here that's neat with this website. But let's build something like this. Like, let's make art. Like, I like this. This is fine. I think that there's some things they should have attached to it to make it a little bit more standoutish for a homepage. But let's build this as our construction. I like at least the template for this. So we're going to start off, because I think this is all doable in Brizy. I want to push Brizy to the limits, but I also want to I want to get something that's realistic. So let's do that. So let's start off with the homepage. And like I said, I'm going to warn you now, you're going to see me blunder. So I'm very, very sorry. We're not going to directly copy this website for what it is, but I like the idea of grabbing colors from it and things like that. It gives you an idea of what you can kind of do with Brizy and everything like that. So let's publish this page. Okay, now it's live. Let's go into Brizy. Let's go into Brizy templates. Let's set up a header. And like I said, I'm very, very sorry because you're going to see me struggle. But it is what it is. That is what you came here for. Let's do all... I really wish... See, I wish that they included something in Brizy where, like, if you clicked it, it would just include it in everything. Like, there should be a header and footer where if you include it, like, bam, it's in everything. Like, I don't know why... I don't know why you should have to pick the pages, and maybe you don't have to. This is one of the things that I struggled with before, but let's just say pages all. Let's say post all. So we want it on all pages and all posts, so this is our header. So let's go with edit Brizy. So what they did with this is a little bit of negative margin here where it separates. So you have three areas. The way that you have this is you have a logo here, you have this, and then you have these icon boxes. So let's take this out. So let's start. Typically you could just start with a header, and if you wanted to, you could do it this way. It's up to you how you do it. To me, you could start with a header and just grab headers from Brizy's actual library and go from there and then customize it to how you want if they had something like that. Certain times you'll get lucky with this, certain times you won't. I'm going to apologize right now for this. If this takes a little while, I'll cut it out the video. Alright, so here we go. We are back. Let me check and make sure we're back. Yeah, we're back. Okay, we're back. It took a while to load up, so I'm just going to edit that out and make sure that that's not in the final cut. But what I generally do is you can do it this way, or you could just build it from scratch. It's up to you. You find something that's close. So in this case, if we're kind of copying this layout of the, the buttons and then this, didn't you find something that's generally close to what you're looking for? And I think that this is the closest one. So we'll just take that. And we're going to use a menu. I'm pretty sure I have a menu if I'm not mistaken. It may not have all the navigation, but in this case, I'm going to take and I'm going to tell it I don't want it to be a hamburger. I don't like that. And so we're going to go in and adjust this. You can watch me adjust it and go over this. So let's figure out how we're going to do this. So in this case, their company logo is kind of centered and it's in a box. And we can kind of already do this, but the problem is, let's see, can we adjust the color? Can we adjust the background of just this? And I'm pretty sure we can. So, yep, so we could. So we could just make this background like a blue, similar to how they did it. Of course, it looks terrible with the way that that's working, but that's okay. We also need to adjust the padding in the margin of this area because I think it gives it some default padding. More settings. Yeah, see, so it's got top and bottom, it's got 15. We want it directly from the top and directly from the bottom, I believe. And so now that's fitting. That's more of what we're looking for. And then let's take these icons. Before I mess with this, see, now sometimes you may want to leave the padding for this because if you can look at this, you can see I'm kind of struggling with these buttons because they're not really there. But that's okay. As long as we know what we're doing, then we can go in and do it. So for this, I want to kind of change these buttons. And let's see what options we have. So we have the size here. We can make them a little bit bigger. But we want to do circles. Cool. So there we go. We got circles. And we don't want... Let's see. What is this for corners? What? Okay, so square button, round button, and then I don't know what that is. Oh, is that just border radius? Like you can make the border... Okay. Cool. So let's do the buttons. Let's see how they have their buttons set up. So they have like this blue that I like. I really like this blue. Let's steal it. Pick the wrong color. So if you've never used this, definitely get this. It's called a color picker. Super helpful for when you're finding out colors and you're trying to adjust things. It's just helpful to have something like that because you can usually take this and you can copy it in. There's a lot of tools like that, and it just makes it so much easier to copy it in. But we want this to be kind of like we want that to be a white. We want the background, though, to be that color. So let's go in and adjust this color. Boom, there you go. And let's make these smaller, because I think that these are a little bit smaller. Wow, that just makes it huge. Spacing form is what? Let's see. Let's set that. It's another big deal with Divi. Another big deal with Brizy is I really wish that there was like some... I wish there was a way that you could just go in here and set the defaults again, but you kind of can't, which is a little bit annoying. So you have to remember what the defaults are. So for this size, let's choose 15 maybe? That looks a little bit weird. Let's go down to 10. So that looks funky to some extent. I think it's the spacing on it, though, that's causing that. It's actually not the spacing. So is it like a padding issue? Like, why does that look so crazy? Corner size. Oh, there's the size of, oh, that's just the size of the corner. Or no, that's the actual size of the button. Okay. Once again, I never claimed that. Never claimed. There we go. There we go. That looks better. That looks at least a little bit better than it did before. So now we're going to go in and how does this hover on this? So there is no hover mode for this. So we're going to change the hover for this to try and include the background. Let's see. Fill. Colors. Background. So this is the hover. So on hover we want to leave it white. Well, my bad. On the background we want to leave it as this. Was that what it was before? Did I copy and paste that? Let me see. Yeah, okay, so that's definitely the background. And the text we want white. So that's what we want on hover. Is like that. Oh, never mind. I just screwed that up. So, once again, you learn your way around Brizy. You figure it out. So I was screwing up. You actually have to select this and then it goes that. That's interesting. That's an interesting choice the way they did that. That you have to bounce back and forth. But it's fixed. So after we do that, we're going to go in and... You know what? Let's delete these because recreating this is a pain in the butt. And then we can duplicate it. And then we'll go in and change the icon. So let's go in here and let's look for, what did they have? Did they have Twitter? No, they have Instagram. Insta. There's our Insta. Perfect. Let's go with that. And then this is what? This is like LinkedIn or something? Yeah, Indeed. Wait, that's Indeed? Do they have an Indeed? No. Is that LinkedIn's? Oh, it is. It's LinkedIn's. Goes to show you how much I use LinkedIn. I did not realize that was LinkedIn's logo. I thought that they had something else. The stuff you learn. So now we've got that. We've got that set up. It scrolls right. Now we need to adjust this. So the menu. Here's where you're going to find that you're going to run into the most issues. Because these menus, they're pretty cool. But when you're going in and doing this, and I don't care which menu this is that you're using, you're going to find that you're limited. Most menus are very, very limited if you're trying to do something like this where you're trying to add this little piece in. There's multiple ways to do that. There's like an after tag that you could do. There's a number of different ways that you could do it, but generally it's a pain in the butt to do. So we can, I mean, we're not copying it word for word. We're not trying to. Let's adjust this blue. It's bothering me that this blue is off. Sorry, squirrel moment. But let's make this similar to what we used. Was that it? Yep, that's it. And this company logo, let's make it white. Can we do that? No. Did they not have a white logo? No, that's only shadow. Okay. So it's just an image. Can we mess with the filters? Yes. The beauty of filters. And then see if this, like, will that make the image white? No. That kind of sucks. I was kind of hoping that it would make the image actually white. I still wish that there was a button. As I'm walking through this, I wish that there was a button that you could take and you could go back and you could just kind of adjust this stuff once again back to the way it used to be. But you kind of can't do that. So I can't make this image white unless I made it white in Photoshop or something, which is kind of a drag. It kind of sucks. I guess I could find a white image. I could technically copy their image, but I don't want to do that just for copyright reasons. I'd rather just take this image right here. And I didn't even know that they had right click in Brizy. Goes to show you once again, you don't start learning something until you start playing with it. I mean, there's so much with all of these builders, you don't think it's a big deal, but you start playing with these builders and you start realizing real quick that these builders have some things that you have to learn. So I'm going to load up Affinity Photo. I'm going to fix this problem. Let me just click to update this for right now because I don't want to lose it. And I'm going to go in the back end. I'm going to go back to the dashboard. And I'm going to load up Affinity. Affinity is on my second screen, so pardon me if this doesn't come out right. Like I'll end up having to edit it or do whatever I got to do. But once Affinity's open, I actually roll with two screens. So once Affinity's open, I can just kind of drag this into here. Let me see. Does it not? This is the company. Okay. So let's take this and we will save it. We'll call this logo. We'll save it into the pictures, and I will move Affinity over so that you guys can see it. All right, and let's open this. This isn't a tutorial on Affinity, but you should know that you can do, you know, Affinity is a pretty cool program. I don't know about anybody else, but Adobe really kind of burned me a long time ago. I know real designers, they're like, oh, I hate Affinity. I'm never going to use Affinity. But to me, I really enjoy the use of Affinity. I think it's a pretty cool little program. And I think that there's ways that you can go in here and you can take and adjust this to get it. So I tell you what, I'm going to pause the video right here while I'm doing this because this may end up taking a little while, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to show you what I did. All right? Hold on. All right, I'm back again. So what you want to go into in Affinity, in case any of you are interested, is you want to go into Recolor. So I'm going to go into Recolor, and you can play with the hue, saturation, and lightness to get this to set up. And then I think we're done. And then from here, I'm just going to resave this, I think, because I just don't. Document contains pixel. Let's export it and set it as a PNG logo. That's a pretty big logo. But let's set it as a logo. That's fine. We'll call it logo white. I like using standard naming conventions. I'm not a big person when it comes to, so let's turn this off. I'm not a big person that likes to name anything that's really crazy. I like to name it something that's very simple. So let's go in here. Let's go into our pictures. We're going to go in here and we're going to load the white version of the logo, which then we should be able to go into our Brizy. Let's go back here. I think I may have to reload this. Let me see if I can do it from here. Let's see. Oh, cool. I didn't know if I'd have to reload it, go back into the media library. Cool, there we go. So now we got a white box. Now, the problem comes in is that we got to make this box, if we're trying to copy this to some extent, it's got to have a negative margin at the bottom. So we're going to have to give it like a, oh, there's so many different ways of doing this. We're going to have to play with the actual settings of this. And it's definitely going to have to be the padding, I believe. So just adding that. See, and I think we're going to have to adjust this. So we don't want padding at the top, I don't believe, nor do we want any, well, yeah, we are going to want padding at the top. I'm sorry. We don't want padding right nor do we want padding left. I do like this. I like the fact that they give you this. This seems really basic, but I like the fact that Brizy's got this. Although Oxygen has a really cool padding section too. I think it's really cool the way they do it. I hate that I can't see this though, because I want to see it. Okay. That looks somewhat better. Still not my favorite, but it looks somewhat better. It doesn't look terrible. I mean, I can kind of deal with it. It definitely doesn't meet this. Like, this is much taller. Of course, they've got a bigger logo. So let's go a little bit. Let's go a little bit more with this. Okay, so we're going to go with that. And then we're going to drop in some bottom, and we're going to try like a negative margin. And I may be wrong with this. This may not even work. Oh, it did work. Look at that. Some negative margin. So we got to remember that whenever we're putting anything on here, it's got to have like some kind of margin to it, because otherwise this is going to slide in it. And so if you don't want something that looks completely horrible, then you make sure that you're setting your margin right. Why do I feel like this color is off? Like, I'm confused. This looks so much darker. For some reason, I don't know. That is darker. Okay. It's like I knew that the color looked off. I have no idea why that. I guess I selected a different color. And that is why you set up a color palette when you get in here. Go to your styling and set up your own color palette. Right now, this is based off of Chubby. So if I were to change it, there's a good chance it would start changing this. Like, see, it kind of changed the fonts already. But there's a good chance it would change that. So, you know what else? We can adjust this a little bit more so that, because this doesn't need a whole lot. And let's see. So we've set that up. This has got way too much. People are just going to click off the video at some point. They're going to go, what are you doing? Why are you doing it this way? But this, like, the right and the left, the padding here. What? I thought I did padding top and bottom. Am I crazy? Did I? I thought I did top and bottom and 0. That's what I thought I did. Did I click on the wrong thing? Did I do padding for this? Oh my god. That is crazy. Okay, let's set the padding for this. Because we don't want to set the padding for the picture. We actually just want to set the padding for this part, which is the content, which is where I was trying to do. So the image itself, there we go. Still not great, but we can kind of adjust this too to make it a little bit smaller so that it just kind of fits. If we want to make this image a little bit bigger, you can also make your image a little bit bigger. It doesn't look great because it's kind of pixelating it, but that's all right. It's not a super. Let's see what 100 looks like. Wow, that is way too big. Let's go down to 70. Okay, that's better. That's at least something. So now we're getting somewhere. Now we're getting to the point where this is looking good. And, you know, once again, this is me walking through showing you how to build this. So we're just kind of building this header. We're walking through it. We're looking at things. We're seeing how things look. And you also want to, while you're doing all of this with Brizy, let's check and see what it looks like on a tablet, because you want to assume that eventually people are going to move to tablet. Okay, that actually has a decent default styling. I don't mind that styling at all. That's another area that I feel like Brizy could expand. Now, I do not like this. I hate this on mobile. These social buttons, they really, really bother me. I don't like that. I want that to go away. And on mobile, I want this to be... How do you set... Let's see. Reverse columns. So is this just a column? Is that what I'm looking at right here? So this is the menu. That's the alignment. But where is the section that actually asks you... That's kind of weird. I was going to say, where's the section that actually asks you if you want... Huh. So in Elementor, there's a section where generally you can go into and you can set everything. Let's go back to desktop and I'll show you. There's a section where you can go in and you can generally set everything, and you can kind of like set all of your, I guess your column width is what I'm trying to say. You can set that, and I don't see that feature here. I may have to do some research and then come back to it at another point in time, but I definitely don't see it here. I think that's a little strange because I'm not seeing it at all. Just not seeing it. That's weird. So I might have to do some research with that and see if I can figure that out, because I definitely don't want you guys... I don't want you to be left in the dark, but this is bothering me. This is super, super weird that you can't go in and you can't set these columns. Or maybe you can only set it when it's on, like, let's see, tablet. So do you just have to manually adjust this? Like, I'm so confused. Like, how can I set a column? That's so weird. So you can reverse columns. So like you see, you have the ability to reverse the columns. But there's nothing that lets you manually set up how they're spaced. Am I drunk? Like, where is this? This should be a setting. I'm so confused. That's beyond bizarre. They have that in every other builder that I know. Like I said, they have that in every other builder. So maybe I'm missing this. I'm going to blame this on me and say that that's what's going on. But typically, you can go in and you can literally set columns for every little thing. Like you could say, okay, I want the columns to be like this. I want the columns to stack. I want the columns to do this. Apparently, you can't do that on Brizy. So, what happens? Can't even... Oh, can I drag it? I was going to say, can I drag this 100%? So I can drag it 100%. But... that's at least a plus. But, okay. All right. I'm just going to go with that. So apparently you can drag that, and that's cool. That's fine. That looks good. I wonder if we can adjust this menu, though. I'm not crazy over the menu. Like, let's go back to desktop. It's so much easier to design on desktop and then go back. Let's go back to the desktop and let's look at the menu. So you can change the typography, which is nice. But once again, there's only certain things you can do with this typography. Like, I'm a little bit disappointed that you don't have more options. Like, if you want to make this, so for instance, if I wanted to make this say, like, blog, let me see if, can you even... No, you can't even type that in because it's pulling from the WordPress menu. So if I wanted to make this blog uppercase, then this would be a prime example of something that I think is a drawback, because you have to exit the dashboard. And if I wanted to make it uppercase, I would have to go into the appearance menus. And I would need to go into here, into the links, the navigation, and I would actually have to physically make this like larger, like that. That's the only way to do that. Like, you don't have a button in here that allows you to do that. So if we update this, And then let's see, let's try and do a refresh. Then we should see that this blog here will probably load and it'll be uppercase, which it's a plus, but I mean it's annoying. Yeah, so there you go. That's really, I'm just gonna say on Brizy's part, that's some lazy crap, especially when there's like a button that you could literally press that makes everything all case. Like cases should be in there. You should have subcases and cases. I don't understand why that wouldn't be included in this, but either way, it's just not included. So that's a little bit annoying to do. So I'll go back and change that, and we'll leave it as what it is right now. Doesn't really bother me either way. But just saying that's one area that I wish Brizy would fix. So let's update this, and I will be right back. All right, so like I was saying, that's kind of annoying that Brizy does that. I wish there were more menu items. And if we're trying to copy this to get this somewhat like this, you'll find that in order to have this, like this little portion right here, you're going to have to use, so if like we inspect it on here, you'll see that they use a menu inline block, so they've got some padding, position relative. So they're doing it, how are they doing this? Are they doing it with just the list? Or are they using the before? They're using the before. So that's how they're actually getting this to work, is they're using the before class to essentially add that in. It's just a way of doing it, which is cool. I mean, it's neat. It looks good. I like the way they did that. But you can use all kinds of classes, but some of the page builders, in some page builders this is easier to do, in others it's a little bit harder because you have to literally kind of go in and use subclasses. So what you would have to do is you would have to go into the menu, and then from the menu you would have to go into advanced, and you'd have to go into custom CSS and like code out your own basically like your own CSS, which requires a little bit of time, and some people are going to be willing to do it, some people aren't. But I find that the more I play with these builders, the more you start to realize these builders are limited. So like I said, for instance, let's take a look at this. So you notice that I said, okay, I don't like this. I don't like the way this looks. Like this menu, it makes me unhappy. But when you look at it, you're like, okay, I don't like the way the menu looks. I want to see a different menu. Oh, well, guess what? The only options you have for the menu are right or left. So I can make the menu come from the right, or I can make it come from the left. I can also adjust the menu. I'm happy to see here that they allow you to adjust. Like, does this allow you to change the... It does not allow you to... That's annoying. This doesn't allow you to change the pixel value? Like, you can't change this to 100%? Oh, that is a no... Okay, never mind. This is just the size. So, once again, I am an idiot. So that's just the size of the hamburger menu. That's not even... So that's fine. I don't like this color, though, of the hamburger menu. Did I set that to the right color? Let's see if I set that right. Alright. That's weird. That's really strange. It's like the color... Is that a bug? It's like not letting me copy and paste the color in here. Huh. It's really weird. It might be a bug. But so the point is I'm trying to get this menu to go 100% of the screen. And what I was talking about before is this is just a example of something that's a problem, because what's going on right now is this is already custom coded into the system, and for me to go in and edit this, I would have to look back through and I would have to custom code something. That would be the only way that I could do it. I can't do it from here in this menu because they just don't give me any other options. They give you drawer position left and right. This is the kind of thing that I know that eventually it'll get better, but it's kind of, once again, it's lazy. People need navigation. They need good navigation. And so you need to be able to give them something that's halfway decent. And I just can't help but feel like this should be improved, because what if I want this full screen? What if I want it the whole entire screen? What if I want it to pop up from the top? What if I want it to pop up from the bottom? Yes, I understand that you cannot plan every single instance of somebody wanting something. I totally get it. But if you offer me something, maybe offer me some options. Give me the ability to add animations. Give me the ability to adjust it. I mean, as of right now, I don't even know. You can go in and adjust this. So if I wanted to call this navigation, I can go in and call it navigation. But look, it doesn't even give me the ability to kind of like even adjust this text. Like, and I even spelled that wrong. But point being, there should be a way for you to go in here and literally adjust this so that, see, so wait, what? You can adjust that, but you can't adjust this? What? Okay, so you can adjust this text. Well, that's cool. But you can't adjust... What? You can't... Okay, alright. Okay. That's weird. I mean, once again, that's just... There's, like I said, there's instances all over the place where there's things that could be improved with this, and I don't blame it on the Brizy team. They're working very, very hard to make sure that this is working. But it is what it is. So this is going to be the header, and I'm gonna probably do, this will be part 1 of it. So I'm going to take it through, and we're going to go through and we're going to do the rest of this. We're going to do the footer. We're going to make it show up on a theme. We're going to do it all. We're going to have it show up, because we're basically copying this layout to kind of take you through and show you how you could do something like this on Brizy and kind of take it into it. All right, so I'll have more updates coming. We'll do this as we'll do probably a part 2 and a part 3. Maybe I'll break up the inside to one and then the footer to the last, and then maybe at some point we'll actually do a challenge where I'll take and I'll create something. If you're on my mailing list, then you'll probably get it. I'll create like a challenge where you can go in and you can download something, and it'll have a proposal from a client, and you'll have to, I'll give you some basic files like a logo file or something like that, and some basic ideas of their colors and what they want, and then you have to create a website. I think it's a really cool idea. I've seen it done by logo designers, and I thought, why can't we swipe that as web designers and have ourselves like challenge yourselves to do things? So this is the end of part 1. Like I said, if you guys like it, smash that like button down below. Give me some feedback. I know there's things that could definitely be changed in this. I know like these buttons, these need to be a little bit bigger. I can already see that. It bothers me that they're so small, and they need to be spaced out a little bit more. But I hope that this gives you a better idea. I like seeing people work in programs. Seeing people work in the program gives me a better feeling of how the program actually works. And watching someone stumble, I don't care if someone is a master, I don't care if they're a novice, watching someone stumble will sometimes give you ideas of what you can do yourself. So hopefully you've enjoyed this, and like I said before, if you like it, go ahead and join the channel. I'll have more content coming out, so I will see you guys next time.